The moon hung high over Ndembo Girls Boarding School, its silver glow stretching across the vast fields that surrounded the ancient red brick buildings. Inside Dormitory B, the air buzzed with whispers and laughter as the girls prepared for bed. But in the farthest corner, where the moonlight barely reached, Zuri sat alone, cautiously pulling her sleeves down as if shielding a part of herself from the world. Zuri was undeniably the most beautiful girl in school. Her skin was a shade of ebony so rich it shimmered under the sun, and her presence commanded attention. Yet, she avoided sleepovers, late-night chats, and anything that would expose what lay beneath the flawless surface of her skin. That night, the school's generator sputtered and died, throwing the dormitory into darkness. A collective groan rippled through the room, followed by the rustling of blankets as the girls adjusted to the sudden change. Then, a loud whisper came from the hallway, "The moonlight makes everything magical tonight." The girls rushed to the windows, giggling, their faces bathed in the soft glow. Zuri panicked. The moon was bright, too bright. She turned away, desperately tugging at her blanket, but it was too late. "Zuri, what's that on your back?" Adana's voice rang out in shock. The room fell silent. Zuri's heart pounded as she realized her loose nightgown had slipped, revealing intricate patterns glowing faintly across her shoulders. The markings shimmered like woven silver lines, ancient and mysterious, pulsing under the moonlight like a living story. A gasp. A shuffle of feet. The sound of someone stepping closer. "What is this?" Adana whispered. Zuri closed her eyes, knowing there was no escape now. She turned slowly, allowing the light to unveil what she had spent her entire life hiding. The markings, swirls and symbols, stretched across her back, arms, and even her collarbone, each design more intricate than the next. Then, the wind changed, a warm gust swept through the dormitory, not from outside, but from nowhere. The candle on the wooden table flickered, though no one had lit it. A soft, humming chant drifted through the room, low and distant. "The ancestors are speaking," one of the girls whispered, stepping back in awe. Zuri swallowed hard. She had always feared this moment, yet now that it had arrived, something inside her stirred, something ancient, something waiting. I need to tell you something," Zuri finally spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "This isn't a tattoo. It's a prophecy." The girls exchanged glances, curiosity mixing with awe. "Prophecy?" Adana pressed. Zuri took a deep breath. "These markings have been passed down through generations of my family. They belong to the lost Kingdom of Nshira, a kingdom that existed long before colonization, before the maps were redrawn. My ancestors were its rulers, guardians of sacred knowledge. But when invaders came, they scattered us, erased our history, and our kingdom faded into legend. Only a few of us remain, and these markings are proof of who I am." At that moment, the dormitory seemed to shrink, the weight of history pressing down upon them. The warm scent of the shade trees that lined the school's outer walls drifted in through the window, carrying with it the whispers of ancestors long forgotten. "Before my grandmother died, she told me that one day, under the full moon, the spirit of our ancestors would call me back to my homeland. She said that the rivers would remember my name, and the wind would guide me to the sacred grounds where the last remnants of my people wait. The dormitory was so silent that even the distant hoot of an owl seemed intrusive. "You mean, you're a princess?" a girl whispered in awe. "Not just a princess, a guide, a keeper of the past," Zuri smiled sadly. "A princess without a throne. A descendant with no kingdom to return to." But my grandmother always said that heritage isn't just a place, it's a spirit, a calling. "I may not have a crown, but I have my people's story written into my very skin." Adana stepped forward. "Then maybe that's the lesson. Maybe your ancestors weren't asking you to find a lost kingdom, they were asking you to remember it, to make sure we never forget." A tear slid down Zuri's cheek. For the first time in her life, she wasn't hiding. She wasn't just the beautiful girl at Ndembo Girls Boarding School. She was Zuri, the last heir of Nshira, the keeper of a forgotten legacy, and for the first time, she felt seen.